Republicans want to push for a vote next week, and it all leads to the question, what direction will the new Supreme Court take? So let's bring in an expert, Georgetown Law Distinguished Lecturer Frederick Lawrence. Good to see you this morning. Thanks for joining us.
Good morning. Good to be with you.
So let's talk timing, first of all, as far as when we might see a vote. Do you think that, look, we're saying it next week, I guess, is the target for Republicans. Do you think that'll happen?
It looks like it. I think the target right along has been before Election Day, and they certainly seem to be on target for that. From the very beginning, the question has been, do they have the votes? Can they hold the votes? There are 53 Republicans in the Senate, which means they could afford 2 defections, 3 actually, since the vice president breaks a tie. And it looks like there won't be more than 2 defections. So the votes are there and the timing is there, and I would expect a confirmation before Election Day.
And I was going to ask you, unless they would lose a vote for one reason that has not been determined at this point, do you see any scenario that where it would not happen, that we would have her confirmed before the elections?
Really don't. The only thing that might have happened if something had really gone off the rails during the confirmation hearing, she was extremely cautious and careful in what she said and didn't say. So nothing went off the rails. I don't think any opinions were changed, any votes were changed. So there are 2 Republican senators, Senators Collins and Murkowski, who had expressed skepticism about the process of confirming a justice this close to an election. That would take you from 53 to 51. You can be confirmed by a vote of 51 to 49 for the rest of your life. They call you Madam Justice.
And it appears it's going in that direction. You know, some of the people who were dissenting to her being there, and a lot of Democrats, quite honestly, in the proceedings yesterday, were saying that, you know, one of the reasons why things didn't go off the rails is because she was essentially sidestepping a lot of the questions. What did you think about the way that she was answering the questions posed to her?
I think she was extremely cautious. And yes, there was some sidestepping. It's interesting if you go back, you know, not 50 years, but, you know, even back to the 1990s when Ruth Bader Ginsburg was to be confirmed. She had a track record as an advocate for gender equality. She had a track record as a Court of Appeals judge in the District of Columbia, and she was pretty articulate about what those positions were. So she didn't try to sidestep all the positions. No one can ever say, here's why I'll vote on a particular case. That would be prejudging a case. No one expects that. But does she have thoughts about the rule of law and stare decisis? Does she have thoughts about abortion rights? Does she have thought about the Affordable Care Act? Of course she does. She's written about these things, but she was very, very wary of expressing any of that in the hearing.
Talk a little bit about the tone of the hearing. This is it seems like an astonishing rate of confirmation hearings that we've had now in the last couple of years. But as we saw last time, things did go essentially off the rails. This one has been much calmer. But what does this say as far as the future of Supreme Court nominee hearings? Are we becoming more or less civil? And do you think it's anything that will change as time goes on?
It's anybody's guess what'll change as time goes on. But it is important to remember that it wasn't that long ago that we had hearings that were much more fulsome in their description of the issues, and then votes overwhelmingly one way or the other based on the qualities of a candidate. So I'll give you 2 recent examples who come from the 2 different sides of the court. Justice Ginsburg was confirmed with well over 95 votes, and Justice Scalia was confirmed with well over 95 votes. So it could happen again, but I'll tell you what it really would require. It would require a president, and that's either a re-elected President Trump or a newly elected President Biden, to sit down with members of the Senate Judiciary Committee from both parties, regardless of who's in power, and say, here are the people I'm thinking of. Give me some feedback on that, and I want to try to meet you halfway. We are so far away from that it would take a real effort to get back to it.
Let me jump in real quick before we run out of time, which we're doing quickly. And the last question is the big one here. With the presumption that she would be confirmed before the election, what are some of the big cases coming up, maybe already on the docket for the Supreme Court that could have a major impact with her on the court now as opposed to Ruth Bader Ginsburg?
Well, the biggest one you're going to see right away is the Affordable Care Act, Obamacare, where it looks as if there may be more than 5 votes on the court to hold part of it unconstitutional. That's not what the action is going to be. Everybody's going to learn a lot about something very technical called a severability clause. And what that means, if part of a law is unconstitutional, does the whole law get rendered unconstitutional? So I'm betting that there will be a middle part of the court, a new middle part of the court that's going to say, yes, unconstitutional, but only one part of it. The rest of the law stands. But we're going to learn a lot this term about what this court's going to be. I'll tell you one thing. It'll be the most conservative court of my lifetime. It'll be the most conservative court that we've had in this country since the 1920s.
Well, we will hopefully talk with you again after the presumed confirmation. We can get into more details of some of the other issues that might come up down the road. Appreciate your time. Always good to talk to you.
Thank you. Good to be with you.